Now let's imagine for a moment that we're living in the post-apocalypse. 100 years from now, there is no law and the human population is 5% of what it is now. What motor vehicle would you choose to survive and move around with? We're going to take a look at some vehicles people would choose to roll in. Then I'll show you which vehicle I think would be the best to roll around in the post-apocalypse. Okay, so casual preparedness says, I'd thought about a motorcycle like the Eurobike, but really lean more towards a four-wheel ATV. Good move changing your mind there. A bike would definitely be a viable option. I mean, you could cover a lot of distance and quicken these things. And bikes usually access places that most other vehicles wouldn't be able to reach. However, I think that although bikes are agile, they'd leave me way too unprotected from the elements and hostiles. I'm thinking being pelted by rainstorms. I'm talking being mauled by zombies or wolves or wild animals. Heck, even being clotheslined by marauding bandits. So, although these machines, these bikes are pretty awesome in terms of exploration, they'd leave me really vulnerable. Alright, so Alpha Boy says a side-by-side, around 500cc. Yeah, I've seen a couple of these buggies, side-by-side buggies. Take for example Rage, or the buggy in Grand Theft Auto Online, or the buggy in Dying Light. Now these buggies are definitely a step up from bikes in terms of carry capacity and protection from wildlife. However, despite their agility and their increased power, I'd still feel vulnerable to the elements. Brute Bizarre says an armored bank truck with grills and bars and weapons and space. Yeah, I remember that armored bank truck in Dead Island 1. It was pretty awesome. A beast. I would roll around in one of these, especially with family members. Now, although these things are really armored up and heavy and tank-like, I do have a lot of questions about their agility and where I'd be able to go, or we'd be able to go with one of these things. Action RPS says a Jeep, an all-terrain with low fuel usage. Yeah, Jeeps are pretty awesome. A pretty cool vehicle to roam around with. I'd definitely go with one of these, my second option. They do come in a couple of different shapes and sizes. The Jeep that I'd use would have to be weaponized and well protected. A couple of machine guns on the front and top. Noble's Kid talks about rolling around in a chopper. Definitely, choppers would be awesome. You get around, cover a lot of ground real fast, avoid a lot of stuff. The only drawback with having choppers is these things are beasts. One, to fly, and secondly, to maintain. All the avionics and electrics would be really hard, and I wouldn't want to find myself going down in a bad way. Alright, Megatron says an Indian Scout 60 or a Camaro. Now I don't want us to regress. We said what we said about motorbikes, but with the Camaro, the 69 Camaro, you're talking my language. Ladies and gents, this would definitely be my #1 pick for surviving in the post-apocalypse. It's alright if it's a Mustang, some classic car. All I'd say is this Camaro or Mustang would need to be pretty armored, well armored, and armed, a machine gun on the top to protect myself with. But yeah, the Caprino from Rage, or the Camaro, that would be my #1 pick for surviving in the post-apocalypse.